Hi, I am Juan, and you can be whoever you want to be. And I have my friend Alex here. Hi.
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 Yeah. So we're going to be talking about gender today, and we're gonna go ahead and start off by stating our pronouns. So I identify as he, him, and then what about yourself, Alex?
I identify as they, them, and I don't mind a he, him.
Okay, so when you say you don't mind he, him,
So for me, I usually think of myself as a they, them, or a non-gender person, but I don't mind if someone else genders me.
Got
Sometimes.
it. Okay, that makes sense. Now, I don't know if this is the politically correct question, but how did you come to that conclusion? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. That's a valid question to ask. It was a long process for me. It wasn't I just woke up one day and I was like, man, they, them, that works for me.
Mm-hmm.
But in my life, I had realized that I had put a lot of weight on this concept of what it means to be a man, a he, him, and unpacking that, going through those things, I realized that I could take myself away from it and embrace this idea of being a person. Kind of like when people say, like, I don't see colors, I just see people.
Yeah.
But I felt so much pressure for the ideas of what it meant to be a man, specifically a black man,
Mm-hmm.
and finding some way to get some clarity and sanity just by removing myself from it. So I consider myself non-binary. I'm a very happy they, them,
Mm-hmm.
and that is where I am.
And now, when it comes to terms, I know the term non-binary and then gender fluid.
Yep.
Is there a difference?
Yeah.
Okay.
I consider non-binary to say I would ideally like to be neither, and from my experiences with other folks who identify as gender fluid,
Mm-hmm.
they would want to be both, or as in they might feel more masculine one day and their gender isn't set to being masculine or feminine. There's a fluidity between them versus a non-binary, which is I'm neither.
Got it. Okay. I needed that clarification.
Yeah, no worries.
Because I hear the terms, and I'm sure a lot of people do as well. And sometimes it's just good to get understanding.
Clarity. Yeah.
Clarity, exactly. Clarity is the word. And now, you said you didn't just wake up one day.
Yeah.
Take me through the process. Was it a year-long process, or? I can imagine there's not a certain amount of time.
There is that. So last May, I sat down and it was the 3rd. It was a breezy day. No, it was. I was reflecting on my life, thinking about how I got to be wherever I was at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to really understand like my place in the world and reclaiming ideas that were my ideas or ideas that I wanted, and recognizing that ideas other people put on me when they saw me, and a number of them came because they saw me as a man. And wanting to separate, you might see me as a man and you might think this about me,
Mm-hmm.
but you might think this way about my sister, my mom, my aunt, or another female, and wanting to say that in some ways there aren't differences between our abilities or our ways to interact in this world, and stepping away from that binary, that man-woman dichotomy,
Mm-hmm.
was really helpful for me to get a good sense of how I wanted to be in the world.
Yeah.
Because it was Alex, they, this individual, versus a man doing a man's job or something.
Got it. That makes sense. And I think you're hinting at a question that I have is, what is it like nowadays, 2017, and some hardships with being non-binary in a still very...
Yeah, I mean, we live in a gendered world, and there's still a lot of gender expectations, and a part of my non-binary journey is not seeming hostile about it. And so hardships would be people who don't understand, or, you know, unless I'm wearing a shirt that says they, them, they would still address me as he. So finding ways to recognize, is this just a moment where I just want to say, hey, I'm they, or something like that, or is this like a let's sit and talk about it? So it's just the expectations, and being non-binary, not identifying this way, there isn't a visible mark to it. So sometimes you might feel like you're invisible and that there isn't a lot of community out there. But a good thing is that there is a big non-binary community, and I have several friends who identify in various ways, and finding comfort and solidarity from those folks is very empowering.
Yeah, and the non-binary issue, I guess we'll say, I've definitely been seeing it a lot in mainstream culture.
Yeah. And
I came across this article just last week, I believe, about California and how there's currently a bill being proposed to where they, them, or a third gender would be included when it comes to like legal documents. Identification. There we go. How do you feel about that? Do you think that's the next battle when it comes to non-binary issues?
Yeah, sure. I would like that, because if you think about a government form or something, it's your relationship with the government, and shouldn't you be able to say, you know, my legal name might be Smith John, but my pronoun is they, and it's a text field. It's a very small part of the form. Like you can put it, like you can even give a number code to put on your driver's license as well. So logistically, it works out. And part of what I think would be good about this particular legal battle is it's just validation and affirming for a personal choice that any citizen or any person can make for themselves.
But you know, people love to be bothered.
Yeah.
They love to be bothered by that one. It's just a tiny little box.
Yeah, and I mean, there's already so many boxes and so many labels that you have to deal with anyway. But the freedom to choose your own box, then that's like, it's too much. You're being like too PC. It's like, oh, what are they gonna want next?
Why do you think that is? Why do you think people are
hateful?
I mean, it is pretty simple. People are just hateful, and I think they just lack exposure and awareness. Yeah. Really.
It's a lack of knowledge, awareness, a resistance to change, it's not my personal battle, so I don't want to understand what you're going through. It doesn't apply to me, so it doesn't apply to anybody. So yeah, there's a lot of self-centeredness in not wanting to understand the binary issue, or not seeing why it's such a bad idea that, you know, or saying that we have equality between the sexes. What's this whole other dimension to it? Yeah. So yeah, there's a number of, I'm not going to say good reasons because they're not good reasons, but there's a number of ways a person can articulate their frustration with non-binary or other gendered issues. Or just gendered issues. Yeah,
and even then I think gender means whatever it means to you.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely one of those individual things. So like, for me, I went through a period of time where I was exploring gender. I didn't know what to really...
I remember those years.
You remember those years? I didn't really know what to identify as, but I did eventually just settle on he, him, because that's just...
It's what you found works for you.
It's what I found that works for me. But even then, when it comes to how I express my gender, I do identify as he, him, but when it comes to how I dress, I do like to dip my foot, I guess, into what is typically feminine attire.
Yeah, and in the queer community, that is another level of complication where, I mean, we'll be hanging out with our friends, and you'll be hearing she, her, girl, why is she in her feelings?
Yeah.
And you're talking about someone who might not identify as femme in any way, but because of the queer community, that is part of our language of how we speak to each other.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that a person wants to be feminine. And then you have people who really hate the idea of being a femme gay, or it's like, I might be gay, but I'm not this or that. And
you say girl, and they're like,
no, I'm a man.
I'm a man,
but yeah, like these ideas of gendering concepts and what that means, that weight to it, that's part of what I wanted to get away from and just say, look at us, like we're wearing yellow and pink, like these aren't typically what are described or associated with masculine colors, but we can wear them and be happy and be ourselves and not have any associated weight to it. But if we were walking down the street, somebody might be like, chicks or whatever explicitly they want to use because they see these colors.
Exactly.
And there's gendered ideas behind these colors.
And like you said, there's even gendered ideas within the community. So for me, one thing that I really don't like is that I guess I am femme or whatever, and even then people are like, wait, are you trans though? I find that really offensive to trans people who have that experience, and then here I am being called trans when I don't actually know what that's like. I think that's really offensive. for me personally, the also.
I agree as well. Like that is an offensive moment when someone would look at you and make an assumption and ask that question, because I doubt it was in a, hey, I just want to know, or like, how do I refer to you kind of way. It was like, I'm making this judgment about how you present yourself, and I'm using this word, this identity of trans, as a negative. It's not that you're just gay or that you're femme, but I'm going to take it a step further and say, like, are you trans? As if one is being trans is bad, or like it's like the next level of femme, gay, or whatever.
I don't understand.
Yeah, it's...
I'm like...
People are hateful. Like,
people, it's true. People are just very hateful, and I'm trying to somehow with this little vlog try and get people to kind of break down their way of thinking. But even then, it's a lot harder than I thought it would be, even within the queer community.
There's a lot of gendered issues within our community, and all the different ways you can look at our community, from being a cisgendered homosexual, cisgender lesbian, or some variation. These ideas of feminine, masculine, super femme, butch, lipstick lesbian, like there's so many ways and so many associations that we put on ourselves in a way to police ourselves because of these genders notions.
And what's some advice that you would give someone who is exploring gender, since you've gone through?
Some advice, take it slow, do some research. There's a huge community online. You might have to like sort through some bad experiences or things like that. Find a real life person to talk to if that is possible for you. You might want to try to make like an online connection via someone's Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube channel. There are a number of good YouTube videos about less known issues, whether it's asexuality, non-binary, being trans. So there's a good way to find some community support online and see what works for you. There's not one set way to find your own gender identity, to find how you want to relate, to find how you want to exist in this world. But listening to others, listening to vlogs like this, it might help give you some ideas of where to go, or just some ideas that you can explore on your own.
And it's okay not to know.
Yeah, it's okay not to know.
Take your time. Like, you are no one else's watch. Yeah, no one else is watching.
Yeah, no one's watching you.
Yeah, no one's watching you.
You're not on anybody's clock. There's no like gender foreman like checking to see. It can be a fast process. It can be a slow process. It's going to be a process for you, and it might seem like you have to come out again, and that's another part of our community. But yeah, just be kind to yourself, and be kind and try to find a good community. And if not, love yourself.
Love yourself.
Be a community of one.
Yeah. Well, you can't love yourself.
Nope.
That's sorry. Sorry.
That's gonna be a copyright violation. This video's gonna be pulled.
That's
I'm not gonna be a part of it.
Well, thank you for coming on here. Hopefully we were able to bring some more insight to people out there. And again, like Alex said, there's an online community. If you can't really find someone where you're living, like, reach out to people. There are people out there. We're out there.
He's out there.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
We're queer.
Get used to it.
Get used to it, yeah. Alright, well, thank you so much. Thank you, Alex. Do you have any last words to share with the internet?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, cool. Alright, well, bye. Thank you so much. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, share, and yeah. Bye.